Alright, bitches. So now I saw a comment from my. I am reacting as a Norwegian to an American gal called Meg. She's been living in Norway for 5 years, and I reacted to a video of her. I reacted to two videos. And this dude said, that's great or whatever, but can you show the video next time? Now, you have to know this, that I am incredibly stupid when it comes to technology and everything. I have a phone, but I don't have a phone. I don't have a fucking phone, you know. I'm using it as a computer and filming with this fucking crappy phone because I dropped the other phone in the fucking toilet. And I'm not going to pay $300, $400 for a phone when I have this perfectly fine phone here. So that's it. Anyway. Oh, so I'm just gonna wing it. We're gonna try go guerrilla style, I think. All right.
Norwegians are religious?
At first glance, you might think so. There are churches in every town. Christian holidays like Christmas and Easter are celebrated nationwide. And more than half of the population.
This is so bad. Okay, there we go.
But here's the twist. In daily life, religion isn't very visible.
Wait.
Churches are often nearly empty.
I have an idea. I have a fucking idea. All right. This is professional, eh? This is professional. Whatever, it's fine. It's just YouTube. Okay, give me a break, all right? Give me a fucking break, all right? Let's. All right. Damn it. Oh. All right, you happy now? All right. Guerrilla style, bitch. All right, let's. You can see it now.
On Sundays,
fuck.
and belief in
I
God
have
is
to introduce the
surprisingly.
video. All right. So I'm introducing the video now. The video is about our Norwegian religious. The title is. I've just had 3 beers. Okay, so are Norwegians religious? And what's up with Sundays? You know, because Sundays here in Norway, everything is closed, everything. But I was in Sweden and saw the god awful Coldplay concert, and that Sunday they had, stores open and everything. So, well, it doesn't matter. Let's give it a go. Let's play, and I will react. Come on. God damn it! This is. All right. This is better, right? All right. Let's do it.
Low compared to other countries. So, what's going on here? Let's dive into the fascinating history, the cultural traditions, and even the way Sundays work here in Norway. Then maybe we'll get an understanding about how Norway approaches religion. Let's start with history because it explains a lot. Before Christianity, the Vikings worshipped a whole group of gods called the pantheon. You might recognize names like Odin, Thor, and Loki. These weren't just characters in stories. People believed that they actually controlled nature, war, and fate. Rituals often involved sacrifices to keep the gods happy. Around the year 1000 AD, Norway gradually converted to Christianity. A king named Olaf II Haraldsson, later known as Saint Olaf, played a huge
Olav den
role
Hellige.
in pushing Christianity
Olav den Hellige,
across the
Saint
country.
Olav.
By the 1500s, Norway, alongside Denmark, went through something called the Protestant Reformation. That's when many European countries broke away from the Catholic Church and created new Christian traditions. Norway became officially Lutheran, meaning they followed the teachings of Martin Luther, who wanted a simpler, more Bible-focused
I have nothing to say to
Christianity.
this.
From then on, the Church of Norway
Thus far, I
was
have
the
nothing to
state
say.
church. tied directly to the government. That meant religion wasn't just private. It was part of the country's laws, schools, and everyday life. This basically lasted until 2012 when the state and the church finally separated. Now, fast forward to today, about
thank God state and church
65%
separated,
of
and
Norwegians are still officially registered members of the Church of Norway. But here's the thing, being registered doesn't mean these laws, schools, and everyday life. This basically lasted until 2012 when the state and the church finally separated. Now, fast forward to today, about 61 to 65% of Norwegians are still officially registered members of the Church of Norway. But here's the thing, being registered doesn't mean you are an active believer.
Nope.
A lot of people stay members simply because it's tradition. It makes things like baptisms, weddings, funerals.
And I don't know about how it is now, but I had to in 2008 or something. I had to, like, people had to leave the fucking state church. We had to, like, because I was, you know, baptized, I think, I don't know. So I had to, like, send a fucking thing to this church to, you know, like, I don't want to be a part of you anymore. I'm not religious. I actually do not like religion at all. And there was another point. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
And confirmations smoother. These events are what we call rites of passage here in Norway.
Oh, yeah.
These are important life milestones where people will gather as a community. But actual
Just talking about confirmation. So you're baptized, like I was, even though none of us in our family are religious. I guess my mother liked tradition and yeah, whatever, sentimental values, I guess. But we have something called confirmation. Confirmation, that's when we're like 13, 14, I don't know. And it's in May, June. And we're like, it's bat mitzvah or bar mitzvah, just without the Jewish thing. And we're supposed to get a whole bunch of gifts from our family and friends. Well, family, but the thing about because everybody got a whole bunch of money, I didn't. We were poor, I didn't get that much money, and my dad gave me a golf course. I was like, what the fuck do you give me a golf course? Like, not a golf course, course. Not a, you know, because you had to have the fucking thing, like a driver's license. I don't know how golfing is for you out there, but for us, for golfing, it's and also to golf, you have to dress a certain way. And you have to do all this shit like it's a fucking privilege to golf. Like it's more easy to have a driver's license than to get a golf fucking thing to get into golf. So that's what I got from my father. Like, what am I supposed to do with that? I don't know. That's confirmation.
church attendance, only about 2 to 3% of Norwegians go every week. To put that in perspective, in the US, it's closer to 30%. So while gather as a community, but actual church attendance, only about 2 to 3% of Norwegians go every week. To put that in perspective, in the US, it's closer to 30%. So while the statistics might look like Norway is very Christian, the lived reality is that religion plays a very little role in daily life. So what do Norwegians believe? Surveys show that less than half, around 47%, say they believe in God. Many identify as agnostic, which means I'm not sure if God exists.
It means I don't care.
Or atheist, which means I do not believe in God at all. But don't think that this means traditions have disappeared. One example that I find really interesting is confirmation. At about age 15, teens will choose to have either a Christian confirmation in the church or a humanist confirmation. The humanist version is a non-religious ceremony that celebrates growing up. There's things like speeches, classes about ethics. However, in both cases...
So I regret this though. I had a Christian confirmation, the thing she's talking about now, where I got the fucking golf thing from my dad. Like, what's all that all about? You know? But Anyway, it's like, as I say, the bat mitzvah or a bar mitzvah, like just not the Jewish thing. But you can also have, as she said, the humanist approach. Borgerlig konfirmasjon. I was a full-blooded fucking atheist, like at the age of 12. So I like criticized the church and everything all day, baby, all the time. But when it came to like, all my friends were going to the Christian thing, and so I'm like, I don't want to go alone with this fucking place like the humanist thing. So I didn't stick with my principles though. But anyway, doesn't matter. I was 14.
The focus is less about faith and more about family and marking the transition into adulthood. Even Christmas is like that. Yes, there are church services, but for most families, it's about gathering together, eating traditional foods, decorating with candles and lights, and creating that.
Wait. Got the batteries.
Like that. Yes, there are church services, but for most families, it's about gathering together.
Okay. I'm gonna give you some fucking context here. Alright? So, you see, you see that old hag? That's our queen. And that jovial motherfucker? You know, I'm a Republican, and that doesn't mean Republican like it does in America. It means that I, in principle, don't believe in a monarchy here in Norway. But that guy is the king, and he is so laid back and so chill that it's hard to be against the monarchy. So, and that's Mette-Marit. She was in a Jeffrey Epstein thing recently, and had a lung transplant or whatever. That's the king. He's married to her, and he's gonna be king when he croaks. That is a rapist and a fucking turd of a person, awful person. But that you see that? That's a bunad. And if you saw my chill video, where I just chilled for 30 minutes, I talked about women with bunad, which they use in like 17th of May, when it's like the Independence Day, or confirmation, often confirmation. And that's a really traditional Norwegian outfit that women use, which I find extremely sexy, because it's so traditional and it's so like, there was like this woman, I talked about that before too. She had a bunad. She was crazy. But men with bunad, that exists too. That looks ridiculous. That looks like they're clowns, you know? So I have a thing for women with bunad, since you asked. Alright. Oh, fuck. This is going so well.
Eating traditional foods, decorating with candles and lights, and creating that cozy atmosphere.
You're going too fast, lady.
Now, let's talk about Sundays, because they really show how Norwegian culture has evolved. In many countries, Sunday is the big church day. In Norway, it's more about rest and family. By law, almost all shops larger than 100 square meters have to stay closed that day. That means no big shopping trips, no malls, no running errands. There are exceptions, small kiosks, gas stations, and some cafes will remain open.
People up there, you can buy a hamburger.
This tradition, of course, started for religious reasons, since Sunday is considered the holy day in Christianity. But now it's just part of Norwegian culture. It's a collective day of slowing down. People go hiking in the forest, skiing in the winter, or spend the day at home baking, reading, and spending time with family. So while Sunday...
By the few videos I've seen of her, she kind of romanticizes us. Like, not all of us like to go walk in a fucking forest and or climb mountains. And also, the thing she said in the other video, where like there was something, Norwegians like to help. We don't. Norwegians are like, feel obligated to things. Like, oh fuck, the car stopped there. Now I have to help them. Now I have to help them push. Fuck. You don't want to, but you feel an obligation to do so. Because that's how we are. We have to be nice. But not necessarily want to be nice. You know? Maybe that's just humanity.
Aren't spent in church pews for most people, they still feel different, more intentional, slower, almost sacred in their own way. Finally, it's worth noting that Norway is changing. Immigration has brought a lot of diversity to this country. Islam is now the second largest religion, and there are growing Catholics, Buddhists, and Hindu communities too, especially in cities like Oslo, Bergen, and Trondheim. Norway today is a place where religion exists quietly in the background. The majority are cultural Lutherans, but people of many faiths.
I just want to say, I lived in Bergen and Oslo. Bergen for 2 years, Oslo for 3. And I gotta say, I like Bergen more. If you want to visit, Oslo isn't like that interesting. Neither is Bergen, to be honest. Norway in general isn't that interesting, but Bergen has the kind of, fisherman vibe, it's, whatever, doesn't matter. Make up your own fucking choice.
And no faith at all live alongside each other peacefully. So are Norwegians religious? The short answer is
no.
Not really. They keep very strong cultural ties to Christianity through holidays, confirmations, and traditions, but daily life is mostly secular. Instead of faith, the focus is on culture, cozy Sundays, time with family, and connections to history. It's less about sermons and more about the rhythms of life. In a way, Norway has taken the structure of religion, community, rituals, special days, and reshaped it into something more cultural rather than spiritual. And honestly, that's what makes Sundays here feel so unique.
I hate
Let me know in
Sundays.
the comments, were you surprised by how secular Norway is? And would you...
Alright, so Sunday, okay, you're off work, that's fine, but Sunday, nothing is open. Nothing. If I had to get a soda on a Sunday, I have to buy a soda for 50% more, because that's the gas station, and they sell they have hamburgers and kebab and pizza, but it's it's more expensive, and it's bad for my stomach, eating that fatty and milky and terrible food.
like me to cover more specific Norwegian traditions like Christmas or humanist confirmations in more detail? And don't forget to like, subscribe, share.
Alright, Meg. I want you to talk about Norwegian or Christmas. Talk about Norwegian Christmas. Alright.